you're using the wrong tool to do the job. It's like cracking a walnut with a sledgehammer. Hi and welcome to bexbugoutsurvivor. In this one we are going to look at the biggest misconception or misunderstanding or misuse of the Jetboil. But this is something that might be familiar to you, a lightweight alcohol stove, lightweight windshield, little pot lid, and that is all you need. This is small, it's compact, but this would be the size for trekking or hiking. Difference between trekking, hiking. Trekking, you're going out for many days, if not many weeks, so of course you want to keep your stuff light. Let's start off first with the food for each of these, the correct food I'm going to say. Now I enjoy a bit of trekking, which means I'm away in the summer, maybe 2-3 weeks, cover a couple of 100 miles, say over 10 days, that's only 20 miles a day. But you might consider something like this, which is a freeze-dried meal. It is just add hot water. So for this, what I would like is perhaps a lightweight stove and certainly a lightweight pot, because all I'm doing is bringing water to a boil. That's all I'm doing. I'm making coffee. I don't actually put food directly in this pot. So I choose a food, boil up the water. Once it's at a boil, I pour the water over the content of this and then eat it out the bag. Okay, so yeah, I only need a lightweight pot. So a lot of our friends from across the pond there have been told that this boils water incredibly quick, about 100 seconds, and then you can have your meal ready. Of course, when they order it and find it is too heavy to do a lightweight meal and then complain about it because they're misusing the Jetboil. The Jetboil is not for lightweight food. The correct food for it is here. So let me move some of these trekking related items out the way and we'll carry on. So lightweight stove and lightweight food all goes into a little 1 litre bag like this, and that is my setup for the whole night. That's 24 hours there for a bit of camping. So what is this for if it's not for hiking? I'm going to dig a military ration out for you here. Military rations, MREs, AUX, which is operational ration pack food, comes in a Mylar bag like this. It is pre-cooked, it just needs warming up. So look at the size of it. I need a pot that is big enough for this all day breakfast. It's boiling the bag, remember, so I need a pot big enough to accommodate it. And what do you know, look at the size of the pot in relation to British Army ration pack food. You can see now where the logic is coming from for this. Half fill with water, just fold up your ration pack, pop it in to your Jetboil. The fill line is somewhere halfway. Bang your heat on and then boil that away. Once it comes to a boil, you can keep it at a boil for about 6-7 minutes. You have got a steaming hot breakfast, lunch and evening meal. In this case, this is a vegetarian all day breakfast. Now that meal in itself, because it is a wet meal, it's not been dehydrated, it'll freeze dried, that is weighty, so the pot has to be that shape and size to accommodate the actual food. As where for trekking, my food is lighter and more compact, so my stove would be lighter and more compact, and somehow it's made its way into the world of hiking and unfortunately trekking as well. the criteria is that this had to fit in a webbing utility pouch, so they couldn't exceed a certain height and couldn't exceed a certain width to get it into a pouch that goes onto your shoulders. I'm sure you know what a webbing is for the military. So this is my MTP webbing order. If you don't know, it's just a collection of pouches onto a belt supported by a shoulder yoke like this. In each of the pouches you'd be expected to carry water, food and the ability to cook it along with everything else. So let's just have a look at mine here. If we come to these two outer pouches, let me just release some tension. You'll see I have 2 litre water bottle capability there, so a litre in each of there. In this is where the Jetboil sits. Now you can see why it is the shape and size it is, why it is the width it is and the height it is, because it cannot exceed a webbing pouch, and that is flush level with that. It is certainly no wider than it needs to be, so I can fasten the lid. Other one, eating utensil, little cleaning rag for me there, and that's 24 hours of wet foods. I don't really bother with everything else unless it's peanuts and Haribos, so only the wet meals come out with me, and it's more than I need because they're quite filling. There you go, it's simple, wasn't it? Or it's just a case of putting your food into one little section and your stove the other with your water. And the British military have been doing it like that for years and decades and decades, and that is what it's for. We used to use the BCB hexamine. Some of the lads went over to the MSR pocket rocket, and some of the lads went over to the Jetboil to do the ration pack. So somebody along the line has decided to tell someone that the Jetboil would be good for lightweight food. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. You're using the wrong tool to do the job. It's like cracking a walnut with a sledgehammer. If you were using lightweight food, use a lightweight pot. It stands to reason. It's simple. In the UK, our trails aren't that big. It's a small country. I think the biggest is Land's End to John O'Groats, which is Scotland to Cornwall, and it's about 850, 860 miles, which should take about 3 months or 3.5 months, depending on, of course, your walking pace. Anyway, I'm off topic here a bit. So yeah, this is what the Jetboil is for, which somehow has made its way into the field of hiking, trekking and so forth. Like I said, if it's just 1 or 2 nights, yeah, I do take the Jetboil. I do like it actually, but I would never ever take this and then put a freeze-dried lightweight food with this. That is totally illogical, totally illogical. This unit here, once put it in this little bag, has a capability to carry 4 canisters. So it's 2 in the front here, 1 in there, 1 on top, which is 64 boils. That's 64. So I have a large capability there, to be honest. But lightweight tracking, remember, is putting down the miles over many days. Of course I would travel with something a lot lighter like that, even if I pop a gas canister in here on the BRS stove, which is actually my personal preference. Of course I would use the Jetboil only for MREs, but as soon as I hit the freeze-dried food, I'm just like you across the pond. I'm diving in and grabbing my freeze-dried food. The only thing I do different is I don't really buy into the liquid alcohol, because I just don't ration my cooking or my hot meals or hot drinks to just 1 or 2 a day. You know, 30 ml a boil, and then no, I can't do that. I'm too long in the tooth. I enjoy plenty of hot drinks throughout the day, and of course I enjoy 3 hot meals a day, so that's on me. But in that scenario, a gas canister suits me, and they're readily available here in the UK. And I will see you out there. Happy trails.